Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're tackling something pretty universal, I think, that first big family trip, the ambitious one. And we have this great source. It was really detailed account from a first-time dad, super candid about taking his young son to Storyland,
Hmm.
right? So our mission basically is to unpack this dad's story. We want to pull out the key lessons, the insights. We'll look at his, meticulous planning, but also the curveballs, and they definitely happened. And those little moments of, unexpected magic. You'll hear about traffic jams, detours for donuts, even the joy on one specific ride.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here is how this one story gives you so much. It's got the practical tips, sure, but also this thread of like real personal growth. It's not just how did they get from A to B, Canton, Massachusetts to Glen, New Hampshire. It's about navigating the whole thing as a parent. And it makes you think about how even the best plans, well, they have to flex in real life. Sometimes that's where the real value pops up.
Exactly. So what's in it for you listening? Maybe you're a parent, maybe you're planning a trip, or maybe you just like a good story about, well, figuring things out. This dad's honesty is fantastic. Packing the car, hitting that July 3rd traffic darve. He left at 2 p.m., aiming for 5:30 p.m. arrival. We'll see how that went. Plus the detours. Cider Hill Farm for donuts, Ornell's Barbecue in Maine for ribs and cornbread. It's all about managing expectations, right? And embracing a bit of chaos. All right, let's get into it. This dad, being a first-timer, he started with some serious planning, like really detailed prep. What did that initial vision look like? How did he get ready?
Well, he definitely went into it with that first-timer energy, lots of dedication. The source says he packed everything. Snacks galore, swim stuff just in case, even if they didn't have solid plans for swimming. Trying to cover all the bases. And he pictured this smooth drive, leaving Canton at 2 p.m. sharp, getting to Storyland by 5:30. Efficient. Plenty of time to settle in. It really shows those high hopes. That desire for everything to go just right, especially with your kid on a big trip.
Okay, meticulous plan sounds good. But kids and road trips.
Mm-hmm.
Reality doesn't always cooperate, does it?
Right.
So July 3rd, they hit the road. Was it smooth sailing?
Oh, not even close. And this is where the real story begins. He talks about hitting that infamous July 3rd traffic. Nightmare, that 3.5 hour drive, it ballooned to nearly 6 hours. 6! And apparently his son is not a fan of traffic. Made that very clear.
Oh, 6 hours.
Yeah. So it wasn't just a little delay. It completely blew up his schedule. That 5:30 arrival, gone. They didn't roll into the North Conway Grand Hotel until 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Yep. So that was kind of the first big test. How do you handle that?
Okay, plans out the window almost immediately.
Yeah.
So what did he do? Stuck in traffic, kids unhappy. This is where the strategic detours come in, right?
Exactly. And this is, I think, a really key moment. He could have just pushed through, miserable. But instead, facing the grumpy kid and the gridlock, he pivoted. They started pulling off the highway. First stop, Cider Hill Farm. Got some apple cider donuts. Smart move.
Always a good move.
Right. Then later, for dinner, they find this place, Ornell's Barbecue, up in Kittery, Maine. Had some really good cornbread and ribs, he says. And the thing is, these weren't on the schedule at all. But they kind of saved the drive. They turned from this frustrating delay into actual highlights. It shifted the whole vibe from stick to the plan to, okay, let's just enjoy where we are right now.
That's a massive shift, isn't it? From planning every detail to finding joy in the unplanned stuff. Sounds like he was learning fast how to just roll with it. So they finally get there late. What about Storyland itself? Did things smooth out then?
Well, yes and no. Storyland was still, a learning experience. He went in excited, obviously, but still carrying those expectations. It's a big deal, this trip.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were tough moments. He mentions meltdowns, which, let's be real, kind of comes with the territory with toddlers at theme parks.
Oh, yeah. Part of the package.
Totally. But mixed in with that were these moments of just like pure happiness. He specifically talks about his son on the Flying Dutch Shoes ride, just absolute delight. And it's that contrast, the tough bits and the amazing bits, that seemed to really change how he thought about what made the trip successful.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. You're saying there was this shift. When do you think it really clicked for him, that realization that it wasn't just about his plan working out or even his own fun, but just seeing his son happy? Was there like an aha moment?
He doesn't really point to one single second, but it
Yeah.
sounds more like a dawning realization. Like it built up over the whole experience, the long drag, the donuts, the barbecue, then seeing those meltdowns at the park versus the pure joy. It probably hit him that trying to force fun or stick rigidly to a schedule just wasn't working. It was actually counterproductive. But seeing his son totally lose it with happiness over a simple ride, or maybe even just that donut, That became the new measure of success. It really cemented that idea. Lower the expectations for perfection, maybe, and just be present more. That seems to be where the magic actually is.
That presence, that's so key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being in the moment, not just checking things off a list.
Yeah.
So what were the big takeaways he shared? Any practical tips for other new dads or really anyone planning that first big adventure?
Oh, yeah. He had some great, really practical stuff. First, pack early. Or even better, delegate. He gave huge credit to his partner for handling most of the packing while he was on baby duty. Said that was a lifesaver.
Smart teamwork.
Totally.
Okay.
Second, timing the drive with naps. He really wished he'd nailed that better. Since his son hates traffic, he suggested maybe leaving super early, like crack of dawn, to miss the worst of it.
Good tip.
Definitely. And snacks. Always snacks. He mentioned Cheerios, pre-washed blackberries, easy wins. And crucially, don't overschedule the day itself. Leave breathing room. You don't have to hit every single ride or show. Just being there together is enough.
Right. Quality over quantity. And wasn't there one last piece of advice, something about photos? That one really stuck with me.
Yes, that was powerful. He said basically, take pictures, for sure. Capture the moments, but make sure you're in them too. His point was, your kid isn't going to remember every detail of the ride years later. What they'll remember is you. You being there, being happy, sharing it with them.
That's profound, actually.
It really is. It brings it back to the shared experience being the most important part.
Man, we've really followed this dad's whole arc, haven't we? From the intense planning, packing swim stuff, just in case, to the July 3rd traffic nightmare, the donut detour, the meltdowns, and then that pure joy on the Flying Dutch shoes. It's such a clear picture of growth.
Absolutely. And if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, this deep dive really shows that shift, doesn't it? The dad realizing, okay, these trips, they aren't just about my perfect plan anymore. It's about seeing my kid light up. Getting to the hotel at 9 p.m. instead of having that afternoon at Storyland like he'd planned, that wasn't a failure. It was part of the transformation. It taught him, forced him maybe to slow down, appreciate the little things, let go of needing everything to be perfect, which really makes you wonder, right? How often do we cling to the schedule so tightly that we miss the chance to just be present?
Yeah, that presence. Embracing the journey, chaos, and all. That's where the good stuff seems to happen. This dad's story is such a great illustration of adapting, finding the magic in the unexpected detours. So maybe something for you to think about. What first in your own life, big or small, maybe taught you something similar? That moment you had to let go of the perfect plan and just embrace the journey. And how did that change you?